Dude, that was absolutely insane. The dragons.
I was only working on that since 8 in the morning until 40 minutes ago.
It's
this. I've been staring at this for hours. Beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
It didn't even really stutter. Okay. Anyways.
Yo.
Worth the wait.
10 out of 10. That beat the last one. You.
Well done.
Thanks.
Round of applause, chat.
It was
Clap
worth
chat.
it. All the technical difficulties and all of
Totally.
the time spent rendering. Okay. Anyways. The Fated Five. The Night of Silence is upon you and the citizens and the infected of Lake Grasp. What would you like to do?
We need to stop him. As soon as we can.
Agreed.
You didn't even second guess on letting them loose into the rings. I know royalty doesn't treat the lower classes well, but still lives that didn't deserve what they got. I've seen those things firsthand. You gotta stop him fast.
What we need is a plan, and quick. I don't know what you may have come up with. Can we really remember much of anything that transpired during our event?
So, fever dream as far as like when you were infected, what you would recall of the actual infected memories, as far as like even Dominicus, if he was here, he probably wouldn't really remember it as true like he did in his infected state. The stuff that he thought was happening or transpiring that was made him so angry. So as far as stuff in your conscious state, normal, you would be able to, remember as if you were like sleepy.
Gotcha. So when we broke through the few times, we can actually remember those as fragments over the span of time that we
just
were.
kind of like.
I don't know. Oh, I don't know what you may have come up with during our absence, but we need a plan, and we need it fast. It's already late.
Rowan's gonna kind of scan from Karan to Ace to Dom to Asher to Briar and to Amasar and RL. We need to put an end to silence. Or it gets worse. There are families here. I think the sooner we get there, the better, while he's there. Those two men.
We were going to want to be smart about this. There are a lot of them. And we are not in our best shape. Kind of eyes Dominicus and Karan and Asher.
I'm tired, but I'm here. I speak myself, though.
Asher's gonna stop for a second, and he's gonna look at Karan and be like, kind of poke him and nose him towards the corner, since he's still can't communicate. Where he threw that crystal.
I'll head over there upon realizing, and I'll pick it up with the glove that I was given.
Michael Jackson glove.
Rowan's gonna, thinking about it, he's gonna pull out one of the gems that he got from the Warforged. And he's gonna pull out the the flame tongue, and he's going to kind of do a side by side. I think there's a way to improve this. I need this to be stronger for him. Against him. And I'm gonna turn to Amansar and see if he's... think you could help me with this.
I can certainly try.
I appreciate all you can do. Thank you. And then Rowan's gonna lay his sword gently on the counter with the stone next to it. As much as I want to rush him.
You see as Amansar kind of takes out these basically like tongs and kind of this little hammer, and he kind of into the already inset stone into the flame tongue, and he kind of carefully removes it, and he takes those and puts them in kind of this bowl, a wooden bowl, and then he pulls out a potion from over in the cupboard. It kind of fills the bowl, and the stones don't float. They sit on the bottom, and you see as it kind of sizzles up in the bowl, and then the liquid level in the bowl kind of lowers. And you see as he kind of like rolls the bowl, kind of like in a circular motion, and you hear as the last of the liquid kind of sizzles away, this kind of the centrifugal rolling sound until it's just this kind of smooth. And you see this is over the course of several minutes here, probably about 10-15 minutes. The gemstone, the two that have been placed in the bowl, kind of come out to this larger set one. And he kind of pours this like malleable gemstone like material with the bubbling, sizzling features, and kind of pours it into this mold, and he pours out another potion, and it drops a few drops on it, and it kind of, you see this almost like frost form over top of it, and it cools off, and you have this it's got the inset shape of the original gemstone, but the kind of a larger the part that kind of sticks out is larger and kind of like almost like a diamond shape, but with like these two like hinges on it, like kind of like a form of flame like shape.
Wow. Rowan's gonna lean down, not touch it, of course, kind of just inspecting the craftsmanship. Nice job, Sar.
Thank you. He kind of takes the tongs and places it in the sword, and you see as he kind of gently hammers it in, and then you see him take this kind of like epoxy and kind of hems it around the outline of the gemstone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Will that sit for a minute or two?
He kind of looks around at the party. I think we're a bit overdue for a formal apology. You're all very good people, and you don't deserve the way I've treated you. So I apologize. He
Asher's
continues.
gonna come out of wolf form and be like, I misspoke earlier when your daughter would be very proud of you.
You weren't out of line. You were right.
I forgave you from the start, Amansar.
That's why I know you're good people. I deserved
Yes,
far
I'm
worse.
I believe it's safe to say all is now forgiven. And there's certainly more good to be done. How much
Sure.
were we able to brew? Sorry.
Oh, we brewed like, but over 100, Amansar. We went to work while you were weird.
The trick will be administration.
Agreed. And is this merely a cure for current exposure, or is this a sort of inoculation?
I don't know. I wouldn't risk it.
Be silly to dwindle through a supply downing multiple doses from re-exposure, but we'll have to find that out. What concentrations do we need? Can we aerosolize or try to disperse it?
That would take another session of research.
Yeah.
Would be some time.
I think the cure exists and it can help, but what will help more is stopping this silence. If we put an end to his machinations, then he can start to work at the rest.
I was almost thinking that we catch him off guard while he's dealing with the betrayals. And you're gonna see Rowan kind of visibly hurt thinking about the two men. We catch him at the gallows.
Gallows? What gallows?
Guillotine.
It is gallows. He just doesn't know about the gallows. Karan just
Gallows.
doesn't.
These
I was-
two men that came here while you and Dom and Asher under. Two men came, wanted to side with us in our ways. Approach on things. We were to meet them, and now, actually, people who would side with us at this warehouse. Apparently, Mr. Silence got a hold of them before, and is making an example of them in front of us, his followers.
Public executions. It's a madman.
Which is why I was thinking we go now. You wouldn't expect us to go now.
If we go now, there might still be people that will side with us.
Right. Standing in that crowd.
Dad?
Is dear.
Maybe perhaps distraction? I've got this little bell I could try running around and ringing.
Will it make a loud enough noise?
I have no idea.
Give it a try.
Right now? I kind of think I want to wait that. Why would I want to ring it now, Dad?
If if we are going to want people on our side, we need to
Take a
show a
stand.
front.
I agree. This man needs to be stopped at all costs.
Does he seem to be an individual stable of mind?
Rowan's gotta kind of think about the conversation him and. No. He's
He's a lunatic.
yeah. Or I can speak on that.
I can't guarantee that it would work explicitly, but I might be able to leverage that. If he's...
Then we go.
Okay, but we're probably going to be walking into quite a lot of people with a lot of weapons. So, do we want to talk about strategy? Do we want to come in an alley, going from the roofs, do death from above? My dad really loves death from above.
Whoa. Or
think
where did he
I
look like
can-
he was placed?
He was kind of up and down the gallows, up and around through the crowd. Then he would go up
Where
onto
was
the
the,
battlements.
Is it in front of the gates? Is that where he's
He's
doing
in front
this?
of
Is it in
the,
front-
yes, the gate into the rings district.
Rowan's gonna kind of recall if he was looking at the gates, right? Where him, Ace, and Briar had the confrontation. I'm assuming that's where it's at. Where there are buildings right next to the gate, kind of like a, I hate to use this comparison, but like an Attack on Titan to the gates.
Yeah,
where they had
there's buildings not necessarily like attached to the gate, but they're close.
they're
kind of around the
right
gate.
there. That's exactly what I was thinking.
The
Okay.
gallows are even set up kind of alongside a house.
So
there.
there's space. There's houses surrounding the gallows. If he's there, we can either go behind him at the gate, or we just go at him frontal. Just let him know we're there.
If we make a big enough scene, I can deliver you to him if he is not too far into the crowd.
Deliver? What do you mean?
Do you remember us walking around River End?
Yeah. Or, Mid Cove? Yeah.
Mid Cove? If I can move pretty fast when I'm not in human form.
So, Asher, actually, this reminds me, if you're going to go a wolf boy, I need to give you a little bit of a haircut.
I just came out of it, but actually, yes, I could use some of that as well for a few of my spells.
So, I will just you don't really have pockets as a wolf, and technically, if you're a wolf here, I'll just put it in your bag.
Just keep it on. Give it to me later.
Okay.
We go now. Let the people know that we are there to fight. For what's right. And hopefully make them realize silence isn't it? Does anybody else disagree? We catch them off guard.
What do we do to prepare?
RL? Prepare for what you do best on the rooftops. Oversee
Right.
from the buildings on the sides. Kind of get a
Check.
good vantage point.
should we keep everyone else in the shadows until we have a general outline of the battlefield?
Amansar, are you coming? Because if you are, I think we should keep you relatively hidden, so maybe up top. It's up to you.
We also gotta be mindful of the cure. We keep it here, or we can move it to.
Oh, someone needs to watch the cure.
Yeah.
I can take a
Ace.
few with me in my bag
Yeah.
to have on hand.
Or Dom. Dom, you can keep a good. This at the ready. If anybody were to come here, take the cure.
I don't think he would agree. I don't want to. I think he would definitely want to be on the front line. But unfortunately, he's not here to say.
He wants to take it to him. I can see that. Well,
As convenient as that would be, given this current situation, I think realistically his character would definitely want to be fighting.
one thing that I would like to do first, depending on how close I can get, is see if I can't give you something that you can utilize against him psychologically.
How well lit is the sky right now?
It's kind of it's not super bright. It's a pretty decently dark night.
Is it a new moon or is it a crescent moon or type of?
Probably like
or
a
something
crescent.
we're talking?
It's not quite.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
That might be inaccurate.
So if you were
as far as the time span goes. But.
So if you were to like look at clouds up in the sky, they wouldn't be very visible, essentially.
What wouldn't be visible?
Clouds.
Clouds wouldn't be visible?
Yeah, like
I don't know. The way I kind of visualize it is that it's decently bright, but even though it's just like a crescent moon and it is a little bit cloudy, it's kind of like almost like a storm brewing overhead.
Okay, so my ability would probably be pretty intermittent.
I would say it
what
would be
you're saying.
mostly effective, I would say.
Okay, so I could legitimately use it and not have the cloud cover.
Cloud cover
Totally F
generally
with-
wouldn't mess with it too much.
Basically, what I was thinking is, if I can get close, undercover, I can read his thoughts. Perhaps I can convey something to you that you can use against him. Plus a few other new tricks I've learned to affect him more directly myself, without exposing.
Who is this to?
Oh, it was just me addressing in general,
general.
like.
Sounds like I'm being delivered to him. So I'll be going right to him. Alright, Asher.
Yes, and I have an idea to go along with Quran. I'm gonna try to leave him a message from the gods. And Asher's gonna step outside and cast Skywrite.
What does
And
this
he's
do?
gonna you cause up to 10 words to form in part of the sky you can see. The words appear to be made out of clouds and remain in place for the spell's duration. A strong wind can disperse the clouds and end the spell hurriedly.
Like where this is going.
So Asher is going to write up in the sky, Mr. Silence, you are a murderer a heretic, and a blasphemer.
If he could even
I really
pronounce-
like where this is going, actually.
That's certainly going to get his attention.
Man thinks he's a prophecy. A word from the gods might rock him a little bit.
Sure might.
The first
Asher's
step
just
in-
kind of standing there, kind of giggling to himself.
Rowan's gonna walk up behind him and kind of like put his arm around him and gonna, yeah.
We might have lost him a few followers from that.
Do we go? Go now.
If we go now.
Let's go.
Aurel, can you assist me in getting close enough that I might be able to read his thoughts?
How high do you want to go and how close do you need to get?
I need to be at least within 30 feet of him, which might be difficult if he's on the bridge gatehouse that you are referencing.
Well, he's been going up and down from there in the gallows and speaking like from the gallows like it's a pulpit.
Something subtle. All I need is one small little thing that he may not want to get out that I could provide Rowan.
I can help with that.
Those outside of RL and Quran. We go together. We go towards the crowd from behind. Make a presence known. Giving RL and Quran a little bit of grace. Let them know that we're there. Sound like a plan? Or not?
I
Hiding.
think it's the best plan that we can come up with in such short notice.
Yo, I'm Ansar. You're gonna stay with the cure, right?
Absolutely. In fact, I will continue to make more. I don't know if we will need to make more. I will keep them brewing.
More is
I
good.
think the more the
Good.
better. Old question, friend. You wouldn't happen to have anything to help with the bit of lethargy, would you? I'm sure we can make do, but
You see him kind of flip through his, like, this catalog. Are you familiar with caffeine?
I haven't worked with it, but I have come across it.
It's kind of like that, but even more concentrated.
Side effects?
When you do finally rest, you will be twice as tired as you were before. But you'll be good to go for a while. I've used it every now and then when I need to really binge on a project. But, worst hangover you've ever had in your life.
Well, I've had few hangovers, but this is quite the project at hand. I'll look to Dom and Ash. Are you suffering from exhaustion one
Nope.
too? Okay, so it's just Dom and myself.
I feel personally attacked by that caffeine comment.
I think we all do. I might consider it. I'd rather deal with the after effects once all this has come to pass.
You see him kind of, I could use some myself. It's been a long few days. Two ways you could administer it. You see him kind of pour some in the in this potion and kind of stir it around. He kind of hands it to you. Stir that. You can do it that way, or you kind of just sorts
I'll
it.
continue stirring, but a little slowly.
Oh, I thought it was going to be an enema.
3 ways to administer it.
There is a third way, but it's a little more uncomfortable.
I'll stick with oral. Thank you.
Sky.
Figured
I would
someone
imagine
appreciate it.
that Dom would probably just be like, "What do you care?"
I'll
No,
take
he
both.
would. He'd just be like,
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine
Doesn't
Dom
like a
would probably
champ,
just-
like he's done this before. Like,
yeah. Ugh, that's good. You are no longer exhausted for the moment.
yay!
But when you do
Yay.
complete a long rest, you will be 2 points of exhaustion. Yay!
Oh,
Sleep the days away at that point.
Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, it should.
It's called cocaine. I'm just kidding.
well,
We do not condone the use of that.
We do not.
allegedly.
It's a joke. It's comedy. It's comedy.
well, Rowan's gonna kind of walk towards the front door again.
You should get moving quickly because that won't last for more than an hour, or if a wind blows it away. And I think you should be the one to make sure that he sees it and point to it.
I'm hoping he's already seen it.
Let's go.
Briar's
I'm
gonna
far
pull
up.
out. Briar's gonna pull out the knife, and put her hand on Asher and just follow him. Once he's wolf, she's gonna give him a little hair chop and then tuck away the fur to have as a component.
Yep. Asher is gonna use his other wild shape, and he's gonna
Mhm.
stop and let Rowan get on top.
Rowan's gonna sit on top and pull out his flame tongue. Lean
So
forward.
It's 2 groups, Arel and myself, and then the 4 of you. With Dom included.
Mhm.
Yeah. That one included, yeah. And we're heading towards the gate, and we're gonna basically go to, I would assume, the gallows, Mr. Silence, the crowd, and then us. We're gonna go right behind the crowd and approach from behind.
So
Before,
you're gonna approach behind the gallows. Who's approaching from behind the gallows?
No, behind the crowd, behind the crowd, behind the crowd. We're going like as if he's looking at us. So speaking to the crowd, we're gonna be right behind it.
before we take off, I did want to do one
Right.
thing. I was going to approach Briar,
Yes.
and then I was just going to pull you into a hug and say, I feel as though I should both apologize and thank you.
Briar's gonna put her arms around him and squeeze him really tight and say, "To be fair, it's not your fault, but thank you. And I'm also sorry for throwing you down these stairs. But
I
you
do
kind
remember that.
of had it coming. But I'm sorry."
It's but a fragment of a memory now. But I appreciate you being you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
love you.
I love you too.
And then
And as they pull away, she's just gonna boop him on the nose and then go over. Go over.
Okay. You guys taking off?
And that
Yeah.
way, yeah.
which I'm going to I know there's limitations of speed, so I'm going to try to balance my meld as best I can to
Mhm.
I'm going to follow Aurel's lead for the
I think
most
it would be
part, but-
easy enough. So I imagine where you guys are trying to go. You guys are probably trying to go on the roof of the place behind the gallows. That's how close you want to get, right? Assuming that he's on the
Mhm.
gallows.
overlooking but within mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And the other group is just gonna be front and center.
out in front of the crowd.
for him to see. And we're gonna be either behind it. I'm sure the way I envision it is that the crowd is probably making their way into the main street from the side street going into the other gate. We're gonna go down that main street and be right behind that crowd and call him out, so the crowd kind of turns their focus towards us. If that kind of paints a picture in your brain, if that works for you.
So when we get up there, Briar's going to just like put her hand on a little piece of fleece she has on her, and she's just going to look at Mr. Silence and make him hear a like a behind him. So we're just like really starting to play everything.
Okay.
Yeah, mental games, good.
Let me know whenever we're close to get to try me the detecting thoughts on him too.
Okay. Easy enough for you and RL. Eventually, you make your way on top. There's a pretty large crowd gathered in this kind of, not necessarily town square, but it's kind of become the town square. This monument of the gallows in front of the gatehouse, and some of the people kind of pointing up into the sky, up at there, and they're like, "Explain that, then. What is this?" And then you see Mr. Silence kind of like these crazy eyes that he's got going on, that he's kind of like, you can see he's like almost infuriated a little bit, like it's got this kind of like look of betrayal that he has, but you can tell he's in a bit of a panic a little bit.
As the second group approached with Rowan and
Yeah, you guys kind of make your way in through the crowd, and some of them shouting, some of them trying to calm each other down, some of them kind of like still siding with several different guards still siding with him. Some of the people familiar to you, the thugs that you saw in the bar with him.
So Asher's gonna wait for Rowan to ignite his sword, and then as soon as that happens, he's gonna sit up and howl as loud as he can to get everyone's attention.
Rowan's gonna flourish his sword, and please be a good roll. 19
For what?
to ignite the sword.
It ignites. I sent you the new stats for the sword in Discord.
I saw that. I saw that. Thank you.
So it does ignite. It has this. It almost catches you off guard. This like this much sharper ignite. And as Mr. Silence is kind of addressing the crowd, it's all about your parlor tricks, all right? You know, there's lots of gods out there, and I don't want to see a man in charge. It's gonna be fine. The night of silence is upon us. And so what if there's some deviants messing with our plots? They're not gonna trick fate. You can't outsmart fate in destiny. And then you see he kind of, as you kind of hold the sword up, he kind of...
And Asher's gonna let out a howl at that as well.
The crowd
silence
kind of
is over.
kind of parts for you.
The
You see
silence
him kind
is
of,
over.
you see Mr. Silence kind of grip his mace a little bit harder.
I'm gonna grab Asher's tuft on the back of his neck and kind of like lean to go towards the parted crowd.
Asher's
To
just
go through
gonna
it.
walk, like just growling and like slobbering, and just walk down, staring at Mr.
While
Silence.
most of the crowd kind of like parts for you. Some of them kind of like realizing what's happened. You see some of the people kind of just like kind of scurry away, and some people just like can't help but look away, knowing what's probably coming. This bold addressing of this madman. But some of the people up front, near the front of the gallows, kind of like step in front, and they have their spears and their swords and kind of stand by.
Ron's gonna kind of look down at them and say, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And then kind of like kick his heel a little bit to Asher to kind of do like a snarl.
Yeah, he's just gonna look at him and just start licking his mouth with full eye contact.
Okay. Briar, what are you doing?
I think Briar and Ace, so if they're here, Briar and Ace are just going to come up the back. Like,
Yep.
it's going to
Yep.
be really fucking movie magic right now.
Yeah. Like you guys are even with us, I
Yeah,
imagine.
Yeah.
By this point, the crowd really kind of parted for the whole party. Did you
What
say
you're
that
doing
you are
is
casting
wrong.
thoughts into his head?
I want to do detect thought. So the initial is just surface layer. There's no save at this point yet. So I just read whatever is currently going through his mind, and I want to see if there's anything I can pick up that may not have been something he vocalized that would make it seem odd for Rowan to know.
The general sense is this kind of nervous thoughts. His thoughts are racing. He sees Rowan, and he's thinking bad thoughts. He's putting two and two together. Like his mind is running. Like, okay, they probably messed with my alcohol stores that I was going to use to burn down the rings. He's thinking kind of confusedly about this is a weird way for all of his schemes to. Oh, I like.
Eye
We'll
blind.
wait for him to come back. We'll wait for him to come back.
Okay.
Hi, Blind.
Hi, blind.
So we do that then. Okay, so I heard about the alcohol stores that.
Yeah,
were,
so he's putting two and two together that it was probably had something to do with it, along with the people that he hung earlier,
mhm.
and he's wondering who else like he can trust. He's kind of like questioning his loyalties. He kind of like eyeballs his own like front men, like kind of seeing if any of them are turning on him. He's got a lot going on. He's kind of deathly nervous, but also he's wondering as far as like this is a weird way for destiny to be playing out, but he's still has this confidence within him that like, you know, he's just got to do what he's got to do. He knew that this was a big responsibility and there was going to be people that would step in front of him, get in his way, but he's still convicted that this is happening.
Can I
So
use
you-
my Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Can I use my telepathy concurrently
Concurrently, like while listening.
while detecting thought? Like I know detecting thoughts is kind of like its own thing, and I can be telepathic with that too. But can I communicate with somebody else?
I would say with detect thoughts, wouldn't that break it? Is it concentration for detect thoughts?
Let me see. Let me double check this. Yeah, it is.
I know detect
concentration.
thoughts can be
Okay,
kind
yep.
of fragile, and if you dig any deeper, then there starts to be saves, and then he knows
Yes.
you were doing
yes.
it and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that if I dig any deeper, he's going to know that I'm. Even if I succeed, he will know that I've probed into his mind. If I'm just reading surface thoughts, he has no idea that I'm inside of it. So, I'm going to back out. I'm not going to probe further, but I will communicate to Rowan that using telepathy, which you will not be able to respond to me doing this.
What
It's
is the
just me
range on
talking to you.
telepathy?
60 feet.
You should be good.
Telepathy. Okay. So, well,
Big Pastel,
he's
thanks for subscribing. Love you. Thank you.
he certainly is concerned. He's doubting the allegiances of his closest men. I'll try to garner more without exposing myself.
Rowan's gonna do like a real like an emphasis on a nod, acknowledging to Curran that he received the wherever he's at. Rowan has an idea, doesn't know where he's at, and Rowan's gonna kind of just flourish the sword one more time and kind of. Those two men were innocent, and he's gonna turn his sword to silence. This man is self-fulfilling at his own prophecy and taking lives down with him, whether they're on his side or not. This man believes he's A king wouldn't kill his people to gain power. And
A
Rowan's gonna
king?
kind of look to the crowd.
Does what he must. A king does what's necessary for the greater good. He makes the hard choices.
But killing families,
At the same
your
time, that Rowan-
families. Rowan's gonna point to the men out front, and Rowan's gonna say, "Your families are at risk. He will do what he can to gain king."
while Rowan's saying that, can I make a response, or can I send telepathy to him?
Go ahead.
And I'll just say, "But you are no king."
You see, as he's like yelling this, addressing the crowd. I'm doing what a king must. Get out of my head. You
What's the
see, he kind
matter?
of like turns to not address the crowd.
Rowan
then
is gonna kind of. Rowan's gonna look to the front men and kind of gesture to Asher to move past them to get on top.
Oh, I imagine the entire time Asher's just been slowly
Yep.
walking, like 1 foot in front.
Still, most of the front men don't let you pass. So at this point, it would be some strikes taken. Try to just move past, but they will attack you.
May I attempt to cast Crown of Madness on one of them?
Sure. What does that do?
It's a so I imagine Bree's like walking up and she's like mumbling to herself. I can cast Crown of Madness on somebody 120 feet. They need a Wisdom save of 13, and then a jagged crown goes around their heads. Madness glows into their eyes, and then I can make them attack people I mentally choose them to.
Okay. Who would you like to target for that? So there are some regular just guards, and then there are there's an individual who is a half orc. There's an individual who is human and has like mutton chops, and then there is another individual that's kind of just like has like a bandana on, kind of like a mask over his face. Those seem to be like his kind of like his closest lackeys or something like that.
I would like to attempt the half orc.
Okay. So what do I have to do, or what do you have to do?
I'm just mumbling. We're doing a Wisdom save of 13. If he won't know, so it's just an attempt.
Okay. Let me get him.
Rowan's gonna speak to people while you're doing that.
D.
Do you want a king that puts your families at risk for his own benefit? His own self-proclaimed crown? Do you want that? Your family's at risk at any time. Your wives, your children. You don't care. You don't. And Rowan's just gonna look and scan every one of them.
I can assure you, it gets better after it gets worse. It's like you have to amputate a rotten limb, you know? It's necessary.
It's not. Lives are not to just put away for nothing.
Don't listen to him, alright? I've already had a talk with him. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and he doesn't believe in the prophecy. He doesn't even believe in the sacred texts. You see some of them kind of mumble. And then he, see, the thing is, with the ones like this and the ones over there, all of them, he kind of motions over to the rings. They've kept you down so long. And I say, I'm gonna bring us all up together.
Rowan's gonna point to
side
the
with
sky.
me now.
Rowan's gonna say, the gods don't agree. And Rowan's gonna point his fire, the flame tongue to the sky. Look!
You see, it is still legible, but it is kind of wistfully fading a little bit.
The gods disagree. If it's a prophecy, they should be on your side.
Some gods will disagree, but I don't think that was the gods. He kind of eyes you. Go ahead and make a deception check.
$18 plus deception. It's an 18.
He kind of just eyes you, and then. So he's got friends. They can do all kinds of crazy magics and stuff, and it's my belief that I had something to do with this. The whole plot, they've lost it. They tried to derail the whole thing. That is a 13 on the wisdom save, Sky.
Yes.
Does that succeed or fail?
Oh, he rolled a 13?
The half-orc guy did.
Okay, so he succeeded. So he
did
doesn't
succeed.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, because the save was 13, so he met it.
Okay. So, yeah. At this point, what are you doing?
Asher's gonna try to just lunge past the guards and get up onto the gallows.
Okay, it will be some attacks of opportunity, and then we will roll for initiative.
So I'm wondering.
That won't hit. Uh, 12. Does that hit?
Nope. AC of 14.
Okay. And that one will hit. That's 20 something. That'll be 5 points of bludgeoning damage as one of them with their own mace kind of tries to slam as you try to jump up the gallows. But
with the jump up, can I make a surprise, use that momentum to go into a straight up attack?
I don't know if it would be a surprise attack.
Or
let's say by this point,
attack.
I would say there's no element of surprise in this. So by this point, it would just be an initiative roll.
Okay.
But you are up next to him, if for what that's worth. We are going to roll initiative. I also have to set up the battle map, so we're gonna have to take a break here in a little bit, so I can actually get everybody. There's a lot of people involved in this fight.
Once we get up there, Rowan's gonna turn to the people and say, once Asher puts his paws up there, if you side with silence, you're siding with murder. Families and children will be on your hand. This man wants nothing but blood and decay. Once they get up there.
Yep.
It's almost like Rowan kind of doing like a 1-up.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing,
Taking
like a alpha to alpha kind of a thing. That's kind of.
Are
what
you trying to
Rowan's
get
doing.
up onto the gallows as well? Because you'll have to.
No,
I'm
riding
on the back of
Oh,
Asher.
you're riding on him. Oh,
I'm riding on Asher.
I guess he took the damage then. That's fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I forgot that part. Okay.
So Rowan
Good
is on
boy.
has been
Mhm.
Rowan has been on the back of Asher this entire time. If that matters of anything, of
Put
intimidation.
you above, over top of the crowd. Yeah. Go ahead and roll a persuasion roll. Persuasion check, and that'll determine some things.
So
is
this is
cocked.
persuasion
I'm
to
just
the
gonna
Go
group,
ahead and
right?
do it
This
with
is hot.
advantage. I would say go with all of the pre-planning that you guys did, as far as like the clouds, the thoughts in his head. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check with advantage. Yes.
Feels good, man. Okay, so I rolled an 18 and a 13. I don't think Rowan has anything to his charisma. He does not, so it's an 18.
18. You see some of the crowd, even some guards, kind of tighten their grip on their swords and walk through. It's hard to tell whether they're siding with you or deciding it's go time. We will find that out after this short break where I set up all of these bad guys. All right. Do we want to do initiative? We'll do initiative on the break while I'm setting up, and then we will call out the initiative once we come back. I love you guys. We'll be right back. That's an early break.
Wait,
but
before we go, please, thanks to Uncle Tamprin. Big thank you to Thick Pastel for subscribing. We greatly appreciate you. Enjoy the emotes, and you know what, guys? We're gonna have to start working on badges for y'all. So, yeah, if you have better TTV, if you guys want to use, we say it's canon quite a bit. You can now use it in chat, and if you have better TTV,
it's canon.
Spoiler
Is
alert.
canon. It is canon.
Spoiler
It's
alert.
canon. It's canon.
Badges are coming.
Badges are coming. Badges. Hey, also, Fairy Tales for Unwanted, thanks for following, and Poison Darth Frog, thank you for following. Love you guys, okay? We're gonna be right back. Just give us a couple minutes. I have to set up some more things. Oh my god!